So what led me to seeking help from AdviserPlus was that we had a specific project that I needed to work on, and as having a very small and perfectly formed HR team, I absolutely knew that we didn't currently have the resource to deliver this for the business, and I absolutely understood the impact that this could have on our gym teams if this was not kind of delivered in the right way. The project was actually called our New Gym Team project, and the rationale for the project was to, in effect, recruit approximately 1,500 fitness trainers and onboard them all within a 6-month time period. At the actual time, we had a different business model, which meant that we didn't employ directly any of our self-employed standalone personal trainers. They were all self-employed and run their own businesses from our gyms. We therefore wanted to transition our business model from a self-employed model and more into an employed model. So the plan was to advertise an interview for all of those standalone PTs, not only in our gyms, but in any personal trainers that were about there, and to see if they wanted to transition in our business as an employed fitness trainer. Once we'd done that, we then had the absolute massive task of onboarding all of these new employees into our business and into our HRIS. So an absolute huge job, which required real attention to detail. And still now, when I think back to 1,500 new employees in 6 months, it still kind of makes my toes curl a little bit that we went on that journey and we embarked on it. And we absolutely delivered it with the help of AdviserPlus. We knew that we would have compliance risks to deal with, which is always the case when you are onboarding new starters. The GM and the AGM would absolutely need support at each stage, as they are busy gyms to run, and this wasn't their actual main part of their job. And I absolutely knew that I needed to step up a team pretty quickly who not only understood the compliance requirements around right to works and any other form of certifications that needed checking, data compliance, ensuring that all details were collected in the right way. They absolutely needed great admin skills and attention to detail, and also, more importantly, could provide advice when required to our managers. We didn't just need the data collection skills, we actually needed somebody who understood the people requirements of onboarding so that they could provide support in that area. I had worked with AdviserPlus before on a large-scale project in a different organisation, which was a totally different project but required the absolute same attention to detail, the agility, the requirement to change things at the last minute and run with it, and they absolutely needed a compliance, and they needed a compliance understanding and HR knowledge. So AdviserPlus had already proved to me that they could do it in that situation, and they did it amazingly well, so they were absolutely my first port of call. So what made me choose AdviserPlus over other providers was that I actually spoke to AdviserPlus first. I got on the back phone to Yvonne, as I generally do, and delivered my SOS to her. And she didn't laugh at me, so I kind of thought that we were onto something. It wasn't a standard service, so I wasn't sure if any organisation could actually do what I needed. Yvonne said that it was something that they absolutely could support with and went away to review with the team. So it wasn't just one element of people admin, it wasn't just data collection, it wasn't just providing people advice, it was actually stepping up a team to deliver it end to end. I also had the conversation with other HR administration providers, and I really could not find anyone who were able to step up that team and support from an end-to-end perspective. Other organisations predominantly provided either the note-taking services, which was not really what I needed for this project, or they just provided kind of generic HR advice and support to line managers, which again, I needed to have the end-to-end and only one team of people for our managers to contact. AdviserPlus were really quick in turning the proposal around and getting a good understanding of the project and of the requirements. And also, what I thought was really great was setting up their own internal systems in line with our internal systems, so that we could track at any time where we were all up to, what still needed to be done. We had real-time reporting, we knew where the hotspots were, and generally AdviserPlus would have already jumped on those hotspots. So it was really great in terms of visibility of the project, even though the AdviserPlus team were running with it in terms of the process that we put together, I had absolute full visibility as to what was going on at what point, down to in what gym. So AdviserPlus became an absolute extension of my HR team, provided a great support, and Tina led the team and became my right-hand woman for 6 months. There was absolute brilliant support from the team. I've already said, knew when to flag when there was potential issues, how to tackle them before they were escalated, and even when they were escalated, they were generally escalated as an awareness as to how they'd fixed it rather than an actual issue that needed resolving. Tina and the team were amazing. They managed the whole onboarding process for us, big, massive data collection activity for what was actually approximately 300 to 400 employees over a 2-week period every month for 6 months. So once we'd done one round, we dusted ourselves off and got on with the next, the next region of gyms, and we stepped it up as we went through. We also require documents to be collected, so right to work as per every organisation, but we also needed relevant first aid certificates, PT level 3 qualifications and PT insurance. Each of these documents required them to be checked by AdviserPlus to ensure that they were fully compliant and could therefore be successfully onboarded with us. We do have really, really high standards in terms of what we will accept for our fitness trainers in terms of certifications. So each one of them did need to be reviewed, and there are lots of different versions of them out there. So the AdviserPlus team needed a real in-depth knowledge of what they were. They worked with the GMs and the AGMs to do this, really helped them on board, reminded them of deadlines, and as I say, gave me a status each day, and just worked hand in hand when the GMs and AGMs were maybe struggling to get information or didn't really know what to do at certain points. No hesitation to jump on the phone, have a call with them and actually get it resolved. So I would absolutely not hesitate to pick up the phone to Yvonne in the future if I ever need help going forward, because the team were absolutely amazing to work with. I absolutely have done since as well. So that they absolutely understood our culture and integrated themselves into the HR team and into our gyms. Spent quite a lot of time in terms of understanding the why and not just the what, so that again they could integrate themselves. They were extremely knowledgeable and took the time to understand what we needed, why we needed it, and if they were ever in doubt, they always checked. They had a great network in the business of who to check things with, so they didn't necessarily need to come to me. They would know who to go to and when, and off they went to make sure that they could resolve any issues and move it forward. And I have to say, although for us as a business, it was an absolute amazing project to land and to roll out to ensure that all of these self-employed PTs could basically be employed by the gym and get all those amazing employee benefits. It wasn't actually the most exciting of projects in terms of the data gathering and the document checking, which required so much attention to detail and chasing. But the AdviserPlus team absolutely completed the project with a smile. Generally a joke along the way, and I have to say we're all genuinely really kind of sad that the project had finished. We'd worked really well together, and had formed a really, really great relationship, which means that I will never hesitate to call them in the future.